You have already been calling functions that accept any number of arguments. Ask for the max of 2 numbers or the max of 10 numbers, and the same function handles both. In this final part, you will see the trick behind that, the star. You will also meet lists, the close cousin of the tuple, and learn the clean Pythonic way to loop over a sequence. Start with the built-in functions max and min. They accept a variable number of arguments. You can ask for the max of 3 and 8, or the max of 3, 8, 1, 9, and 4, and it still finds the largest of them all. You do not add extra parentheses, and you are not passing a tuple, though passing a tuple also works. So how would you write your own function that behaves this way? To take a variable number of arguments in your own function, write the parameter with a star in front of it. Here we define a function called min, whose parameter is star args. The moment Python sees that star, it takes whatever you pass in and packs it into a tuple automatically, then hands you that tuple under the name args. You never build the tuple yourself. Now fill in the body. Since args is just a tuple of numbers, we loop directly over its elements, keeping a running total. Start total at 0, and for each element in args, add it to total. When the loop finishes, return total divided by the length of args, which is how many arguments were given. That is exactly what a min is, the sum of the values divided by how many there are. Call min with 6 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because of the star, args becomes the tuple holding all 6. The loop walks through them and the total climbs. 1, then 3, then 6, then 10, then 15, and finally 21. The length of args is 6, so the function returns 21 divided by 6, which is 3.5. 6 separate arguments gathered into one tuple, averaged in a single line. The same function, unchanged, handles a different count. Call min with 3 numbers, 6, 0, and 9. This time args is the tuple of those 3. Total becomes 6, then stays 6 after adding 0, then jumps to 15. The length of args is 3, so the function returns 15 divided by 3, which is 5. One definition, 2 calls, completely different numbers of arguments. That is the power of the star. Compare this to writing min without the star. If the parameter is just args with no star, Python packs nothing. Args is whatever single object you pass. To make it a tuple of numbers, you now have to build the tuple yourself and pass it as one argument. That means a double set of parentheses at the call, the outer pair for the function call, and the inner pair that makes the tuple. The star version spares you all of that. Now lists. A list behaves almost exactly like a tuple. Nearly everything you learned about tuples carries straight over. The one real difference is how you write it. A tuple uses round parentheses, a list uses square brackets. Here is a list of 3 numbers, 8, 3, 5, written inside square brackets. Indexing, slicing, and length all work just as they did for tuples and strings. 2 small cases are worth noting. An empty list is just an opening and closing square bracket with nothing between them. And a list with a single element, say the list holding 5, needs no trailing comma. Contrast that with the one-element tuple, which required a comma to avoid confusion with grouping parentheses. Square brackets create no such ambiguity, so no comma is needed. What makes lists mutable waits for the next lecture. Today is simply meeting them. Here is where lists and tuples get elegant. Suppose you want the sum of a list's elements. One way loops over a range of indices and reaches into the list at each index. It works, but it is hard to read at a glance. The Pythonic way loops over the elements directly. For each element in the list, add that element to a running total. Wrap it in a function called listSum that takes a list and returns the total. Run it on the list 8, 3, 5. The loop variable takes on 8, then 3, then 5, and the total grows to 16. No indices, no square brackets, just the values themselves. The direct style adapts with almost no effort. Suppose the list holds 3 short strings instead of numbers. The loop still walks over every element, one string at a time. Call the loop variable s. To total the length of the strings, change one thing in the body. Instead of adding the element, add the length of the element. Now the lengths, taken one at a time, are 2, then 3, then 1, and the total comes to 6. Same shape of code, different work. A handy habit while learning is to write a short comment under the for loop naming the values the loop variable will take. That closes the lecture. 3 ideas to carry forward. First, a star in front of a parameter packs any number of arguments into a tuple the way max, min, and sum do. Second, lists use square brackets and otherwise behave like tuples. Third, looping straight over the elements of a sequence is both more readable and more Pythonic. The Python file has extra functions to practice on. Well worth trying at home. To practice what you just learned, this course has free exercises and AI-graded feedback on ludium.ai. The link is in the description.